had 1,378 last year at this time. These statistics are outrageous, and it does not even say that you are safe to go to a food truck in broad open daylight. My bishop stated that he was in a grocery store and wondered if he was safe. We're going to continue to have these problems until the community wake up, stand up, and speak up. JSO cannot solve the crime if they were not there when it happened. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think. For information about Mad Dads, go to Mad Dads Jacksonville chapter Facebook or madd-jacksonville.com.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. The sports world keeps spinning and the local conversation continues. Now, Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Monday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL 92.5 FM. With Dylan Denmark, the Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you have decided to spend part of your Monday evening with us. A Monday evening of the week of SEC Media Days. To me, the unofficial kickoff to the football season. We are 40 days away from the first Saturday of college football, 47 days away from the first Saturday when the Florida Gators will take the field against the Utah Utes. So we got a ton to get into. It'll be very college football heavy, although all week we do have a ton of NFL for you as well. We'll start tonight here on a Monday. We'll go to Atlanta twice. That is where SEC Media Days is being held. Frank Frangie of The Frangie Show, he will join us at about 8:35, kind of review day number one in Atlanta. Also, my friend Brent Beard in the 9 o'clock hour to talk SEC Media Days. Sandwiched in the middle of them, George Reister, former Jaguar tight end. You hear him now on Sirius XM Mad Dog Radio. You hear him also all over the airwaves in Pac-12 territory. We'll talk to George Reister, former Jaguar, about the Jaguars coming into 2022. We'll also talk with him about Tony Boselli going into Canton, Ohio, and we'll talk to him about the future of the Pac-12. George Reister is a very proud alum of Oregon. He has green blood pumping through his veins with the Oregon Ducks. What does he think of his beloved Pac-12 now that USC and UCLA are on their way to the Big Ten in 2024? There is a ton to get into. Do you realize that we are 6 days away from the Jacksonville Jaguars reporting to training camp? 1 week from today, the Jaguars will hold their first training camp practice, and we are 17 days away, 2 weeks from Thursday, from the Jaguars and the Raiders in Canton, Ohio, at the Pro Football Hall of Fame with the Hall of Fame game. Every night on Hacker After Dark, we kick it off with a big deal of the night, and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal? What is the big deal?
No big deal. It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
As we mentioned, the Southeastern Conference Media Days underway at the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta, Georgia. Today, LSU, Ole Miss, and Missouri were in. Alabama and Nick Saban arrive tomorrow. The big day for us locally, I believe, is on Wednesday, which both Florida and I believe Georgia are scheduled to be in Atlanta on Wednesday. SEC Media Days, what are they? Well, they're conversations. They're big, if there was a story during the offseason, it gets asked at SEC Media Days. You got 1,200 media members from all over the country, certainly a ton in the southeastern part of the country. And to me, it's the unofficial kickoff of college football season. To me, you no longer refer to 2022 as next year. It's now this year, this football season. And as we mentioned, LSU was there today, Ole Miss was there today, and Missouri was there today. Brian Kelly, the head coach of LSU, caught up with Frank Frangie and Matt Hayes up at SEC Media Days, and we'll bring you that conversation here coming up later on Hacker After Dark. I can't imagine Matt Hayes' emotions when Brian Kelly sat down at the table with them As you know, if those of you that listen to Primetime, I am not rooting for LSU in one single game this year because Matt Hayes completely turned me away from Brian Kelly. It's not even an anti-Brian Kelly thing. I just thought Matt was so over the top with his praise for that hire that I've even told you that I'm going to wear a Florida State outfit on Labor Day weekend when the Noles go to New Orleans and take on LSU and Brian Kelly. But Brian Kelly was certainly the story there today. Lane Kiffin was a story there today as well. Lane Kiffin, boy, really didn't hold back. Had some very, very critical thoughts about NIL. Basically saying the powers that be in college football, you asked for this. Well, now you got it. Basically saying you made cheating legal, and those with the most money are going to get the best players. Kiffin also this offseason said college football has now turned into a professional sport. You got free agency, i.e. the transfer portal, and the NIL. You know, the most money usually gets the player. How is that any different than what the NFL does with free agency? So Lane Kiffin, this is not a new thing. And I'm surprised that it's Lane Kiffin that's so outspoken about this. But then when you realize who he's competing with in the SEC West, with Alabama, with all the oil money out at College Station at Texas A&M, you're competing with the money at LSU. Arkansas, look, we've talked about this many times. Tyson Chicken, Walmart, Sam's, they're all based out in Arkansas. There's a ton of money out there. So when you get involved with NIL, Lane Kiffin, you might see where he's coming from because he is competing with some of the richest pockets in college football when it comes to it. But aside from Lane Kiffin's critical comments about NIL, and they were critical, to his credit, he did not hold back. Brian Kelly was a story today. Brian Kelly and Billy Napier, the two newcomers to the Southeastern Conference. How will Brian Kelly do at LSU? He's very successful at Central Michigan, very successful at Cincinnati, very successful at Notre Dame. He got off to a little bit of a rocky start with the fake Southern accent that he portrayed at the LSU basketball game right after he was hired. He got off to an even rockier start with that weird rotating recruiting room that they have with the camera, where he was dancing in a very odd fashion with some recruits. So it did not get off to a great start for Brian Kelly, PR-wise. But give credit where credit's due. He's settling in. He's done very good in the transfer portal, and he's doing very good now on the recruiting trail. To me, LSU and Florida, very similar. Florida, a power in the East, kind of being rebuilt a little bit by Billy Napier. LSU, a power in the West. Heck, they were the national champions, two and a half years ago? But they need to be rebuilt a little bit under Brian Kelly. Both guys starting in 2022 at new programs. Who's going to be more successful? Money is probably on Napier because he doesn't have to directly compete with Alabama and Texas A&M and Auburn and Arkansas and Ole Miss. He's basically got to compete with Georgia, Tennessee, maybe Kentucky. But it will be interesting to follow both Kelly and Billy Napier. Missouri was there today as well. The only thing I'll say for them is Eli Drinkwitz, their head coach, is hilarious. It's not just the Star Wars thing with Dan Mullen from last year. I love Eli Drinkwitz. I hope that he's at Missouri or in the SEC for a long time. But there are people that will tell you that Missouri needs to start winning a little bit more, or Drinkwitz is going to find himself on a little bit of a hot seat. So it starts with a little appetizer today. LSU, one of the big schools, Ole Miss and Missouri. It'll really heat up tomorrow with the Alabama Crimson Tide and Nick Saban rolling in. I would seriously doubt that you'll hear anything about Texas A&M and Alabama, Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher. The SEC has done its best to kind of squash that and make it a non-story. You heard about conference expansion today. You heard about NIL today. You heard about transfer portal today. And I'll give Greg Sankey credit. Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the Southeastern Conference, fired some salvos at some people. He was asked directly, you're bringing in Texas and Oklahoma. The Big Ten's bringing in USC and UCLA. Who's making the bigger impact? Who got the better teams? Sankey said, we did. Texas and Oklahoma. Absolutely. He also mentioned geography, that Texas and Oklahoma are either connected to, landlocked with SEC universities. You're bringing back great rivalries like Texas and Texas A&M, like Oklahoma and Arkansas. And when he mentioned the geography of it, I'm going to talk about this with Frank Frangie later on. Was that a telltale sign that maybe they're not going to go for the Oregons or the Washingtons of the world, that the SEC has a plan that it has to make sense geographically to bring somebody in? Clemson would make sense, right? Miami, Florida State, they would make sense. But it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to bring in an Oregon or a Notre Dame even, if you're talking about wanting to be geographically in the southeast to, I guess, the tad southwestern part of the United States of America. So much more on the world of college football. That is coming up in just a bit here on Hacker After Dark. The Jacksonville Jaguars, as we said, are on the field 7 days from now for training camp. They report on Sunday. Today was the first reporting day in the NFL. The Buffalo Bills and the Las Vegas Raiders, rookie classes, have reported to training camp. That means former Gator Kaiir Elam has reported to training camp. We'll be very interested to see how he does in that Buffalo Bills secondary. The Raiders are reporting for an obvious reason. 17 days from now, they play the Jacksonville Jaguars in the Hall of Fame game in Canton. That's why I'm a little surprised the Jaguars aren't reporting until the 24th. They're going to have, 9 days basically of work before their first preseason game? That might tell you all you need to know about people that are going to play in the Hall of Fame game. I doubt you see a lot of starters in that game. Doesn't seem like a very long time to get ready for preseason game number 1. But every day, starting today, whether it's rookie classes or full rosters, you will have NFL teams reporting from now, I believe, until July the 27th is when the last couple of teams will report for work. So the Bills rookies and the Raider rookies are in as the NFL training camp season has officially kicked off. 641-1010 is the phone number, Jacksonville. If you want to get involved in the program, you are more than welcome to do so. We'll go to Atlanta in about 20 minutes or so. Frank Frangie will join us to talk day number 1 of SEC Media Days. We'll bring you, hopefully, the Brian Kelly interview as well that Frangie and Matt Hayes did earlier today here on 1010XL. Also, former Jaguar tight end George Reister to talk Jaguars, Tony Boselli, and more. He is coming up in the early 9 o'clock hour. As always, we are streaming. For your viewing pleasure, to go to YouTube, the 1010XL YouTube channel. Like and subscribe while you're there. You can also go to my personal Twitter, at Ryan Green, 1010XL. That's at Ryan Green, 1010XL. Coming up next, more in the world of college football and some high praise for Trevor Lawrence. And I mean some very high praise. I'll tell you what I'm talking about next on Hacker After Dark.
Because at the end of your workday, you just might need a lift.
Let's go home.
Let the Frangie Show drive you home.
Are we ready? Yes. Good.
Afternoons on 1010XL.
Would you like to drive for a while?
Hand me that nail gun.
Here you go. And here's the fries.
Lunch. Who's hungry?
You know, maybe instead of loading up a nail gun with French fries to feed the crew, we should just order lunch through Easy Cater. Food from all our favorite restaurants.
My bad.
On time and as ordered.
Huh. Load up the hot dogs while I think about it.
Some food just doesn't work at work, but Easy Cater just does. Food for work on time and as ordered from over 85,000 restaurants. Order 24/7 at EasyCater.com.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
If you'd like to work part-time for the Jumbo Shrimp, attend their hiring event at 1-to-1 Financial Ballpark, Wednesday, July 27th. from 4 to 7.
The learning experience in Nocatee is raising funds for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and the Jacksonville Sharks will donate $5 for every ticket sold. Learn more at jacksharks.com.
The Creeks Athletic Association in St. Johns County offers a variety of sports for children 5 to 18. Learn how to get your child involved at caaleague.org.
You can play in the golf tournament benefiting the Derek Hatcher Foundation, combating the disease of addiction, August 13th at Eagle Landing Golf Club. Register at derekhatcherfoundation.org.
Builders Care is looking for volunteers, and there are so many ways you can help. Find out how at builderscare.org.
If you're involved in a community event and you'd like us to help spread the word, find out how at 1010XL.com.
Tracel Cage here, Director of Fun for Ladies Executive Golf Society. Legs is ready to help women network and enjoy golf. No golf experience or clubs needed. We offer a series of events that provide an opportunity to network with a variety of ladies from different fields, all while learning, playing, and enjoying the great game of golf. For details on our activities like Nine and Wine, golf outings, and our self-improvement clubs, go to ladiesexecutivegolfsociety.com. That's ladiesexecutivegolfsociety.com.
Hacker here for my friends at Xfinity. Look, when you want something great, you probably don't want to wait for it. Well, Xfinity has a new offer you won't want to wait to take advantage of. It's the Xfinity 3-for-1 bundle. Here's the bottom line. You get unlimited internet with fast speed. There's no annual contract required and no equipment fees. There's even a 2-year internet rate guarantee. You'll get unlimited internet, a free Flex 4K streaming box, and 1 line of unlimited mobile, all for just $75 a month. The Xfinity 3-for-1 bundle is built with you in mind. This is a limited time offer. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with a stored bank account. New fast internet customers only. Xfinity Mobile requires post-pay Xfinity Internet. Don't wait. Visit Xfinity.com/3-for-1. Call 1-800-XFINITY or do what I did and check out an Xfinity store today.
After my surgery, my knee was back in shape after only a few months. I trusted Southeast Orthopedic Specialists with my daughter's back surgery as well. Both of us are great. We're doing exactly what we love to do. This is David Lane, and I seriously recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists for any orthopedic issue.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. Our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists is ready to help you too. We'd like to thank the coaches and schools who trust in our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey, it's Jeff Prosser. Are you feeling the sting of higher interest rates and higher costs? All those credit cards and other loans are costing more and more every month. Inflation making everything else more expensive. But listen, your home can save you right now. Your home value is up, and there's a ton of cash in it that you can access with Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto specializes in zero-cost cash-out home refis. That means you can get tens of thousands in as little as 2 weeks, pay off all those 23% rate credit cards and other loans, consolidate everything into one super low payment. People who do this usually cut $800 or more from their monthly budget, and even if your home mortgage rate goes up a point or so, it's offset by your credit card rate going to zero. Call Loan Pronto now. Unlock that equity and wipe out bad debt. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments altogether. So call 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Wholesale prices, premium service, Tire Outlet.
Captain Kevin Favor here, and this summer, go further with Tire Outlet. Visit them online at any of their 13 locations in Northeast Florida to shop their top flagship brands like Kumo and Yokohama. Let them find the right fit for you. Visit TireOutlet.com to find your store today.
Wholesale prices, premium service, Tire Outlet.
College football starts with Griffin Service SEC Football Media Days. Coming soon, players, coaches, college football insiders. Brought to you by the personal injury law firm of Harrell & Harrell and Kohler Homes. Windows, doors, and more. This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us. A Monday night edition of Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM. Home Run Derby ongoing. Where's this at? Is this Chavez Ravine, Los Angeles, California? Believe it is. We'll keep you updated on the Home Run Derby. Home Run Derbies in the past, man. I used to really get into these. I remember McGuire at Fenway. That was one of the best ones I can remember. Ken Griffey Jr. had a moment. Bobby Abreu, I remember, had a crazy home run derby. Josh Hamilton as well. Pete Alonso going for another one tonight. So we'll certainly keep you updated. They're just beginning the festivities out there with the home run derby. And I got to at least mention Cameron Smith winning the Open Championship yesterday. My goodness, what a final round. A 64 for Cam Smith, just chasing down Victor Hovland, Rory McIlroy to win the Open Championship. He becomes only the second guy ever to win the Players and the British Open in the same golf year. Joins Jack Nicklaus. That's pretty good company to be in when you're with the Golden Bear. That's not bad. So Cameron Smith, the winner yesterday and, of course, today, not 24 hours after he wins a major. There are all sorts of rumors that Live Golf potentially talking to Cam Smith. Denmark, did you see the David Faraday news?
I did.
David Faraday apparently, reportedly, leaving NBC to join Live Golf. Rumor has it. Now, my question to this, that piques all kinds of interest. Because if Faraday's going to be an analyst for Live Golf, does that mean a TV deal is in the works? Would Faraday leave just to call the action on YouTube? I don't know. So you got to wonder if something's coming up down the line here with that new golfing tour, Live Golf. All right, back into the world of college football and the National Football League. Again, Frank Frangie in Atlanta at SEC Media Days coming up in less than 15 minutes. So ESPN.com today, getting ready for training camp. Again, if you're a Buffalo Bills rookie or if you're a Las Vegas Raiders rookie, I'm not sure if you're happy or mad. There are, 90 times 32? What are we talking? 2,800 and change, almost 3,000 players right now in the National Football League going into training camp. And the Bills rookies and the Raiders rookies are the first ones in, as they had to report today. So going into training camp, ESPN.com likes to put a lot of these lists out. And I always like to bring these to the radio when they involve a Jacksonville Jaguar or two. And this one does. Today, ESPN.com, their headline, ranking NFL second-year breakout candidates for 2022. 15 players who could become stars, from quarterbacks to pass rushers. Number one on this list, 15 second-year players that could become stars in 2022. Number one, Trevor Lawrence. I've been doing radio on 1010XL for a long time. I cannot remember the last time the Jaguars, other than mock drafts, were number one on a list for anything. But they're number one here with Trevor Lawrence. I'll read you a little bit of what they say. Again, 15 second-year NFL players that could become breakout stars. File this one under duh. The most hyped quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck is a popular pick to take the kind of second-year leap we've seen from the likes of Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow. You're talking dirty to me now. All right, you're getting me all sorts of excited. Lawrence showed in his rookie season why he was considered to be such rarefied air as a prospect. It just took until week 18 for him to do it. In a meaningless game for the Jaguars, but one that meant everything to the Colts, Lawrence did not flinch. You're talking dirty to me, and I kind of like it. There's no question. And I really like it at night. That was during the midday. When I get talked dirty to during the midday is one thing. But, brother, when you're talking dirty to me at 8:25 on a Monday night, it's a completely different animal.
It hits a little different.
Oh, my gosh, there's no question. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow? In the same paragraph, they're talking about Trevor Lawrence? Whew, brother, sign me up. Now, let's think back to Trevor Lawrence's rookie year. 12 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. What'd they go, 8 weeks where he threw 1 touchdown pass? It was not good. And the question we have asked ourselves for the last 6 months or so, basically the entire offseason, why wasn't it good? Was it lack of talent around him? Yeah, that was probably part of it. Was it the absolute nonsense he had off the field with that coaching staff? Yeah, that was probably part of it too. But let's not sugarcoat everything. Lawrence at times was not good last year. All right? Now, he was a rookie. Absolutely. And you always see the biggest jump. I shouldn't say always. You normally see the biggest jump with a quarterback from year number 1 to year number 2. And I hope ESPN's right. I hope Trevor Lawrence has the type of leap that we saw from the likes of Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes. That may be very, very, very high praise, setting the bar very high, but why not? If he was the generational quarterback, remember that term, generational? You probably said it at one point or another. Jaguar fans talking about Trevor Lawrence coming to Jacksonville. Well, let's see it. I'm on board. I want to see a generational quarterback. I didn't see it last year. Like we said, there was some reasoning for that. But new head coach, new coaching staff, obviously more weapons around you. Year number 2. All right, let's see that generational stuff we were talking about. I hope we do. Also on this list, if you scroll down, you see Elijah Moore, the Jets, J.C. Horn of Carolina, Rashad Bateman of Baltimore. Trey Lance is on here. But at the very bottom, we said Trevor Lawrence was number 1. Number 15, Travis Etienne. Again, every day. We talked about this last week. Every day. Pro Football Focus, Sports Illustrated, Sporting News, ESPN, CBS Sports. One of the big boys, one of the big national websites that covers the NFL, heaps praise on Travis Etienne. The guy's got more acclaim coming in year 2 than most rookie running backs who actually played last year do. I think it's the unknown, the intrigue of what he was in college. You haven't seen it yet on an NFL field in a game that matters. And I hope all the hype that he's getting, he lives up to. Fantasy football-wise, same thing. Travis Etienne is going very high in a lot of these very early fantasy football drafts. You know, as we got 5 days left till the Jaguars report to training camp, one thing I wanted to get into briefly this week, too, we'll do one a night here on Hacker After Dark. The 5 biggest stories from this past Jaguar offseason. In no particular order. The 5 biggest stories. I'm going to start with the very beginning of the offseason. That coaching search. Remember that? Remember Byron Leftwich? 99.9%. That dude in Arizona that said that. Byron Leftwich and Adrian Wilson coming to Jacksonville. Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Look, I've been wrong too. I've been wrong in many, many times. But that coaching search seems so long ago. It was this offseason where we thought it was a circus. We thought it was a clown show. What are the Jaguars doing? 35 days. Remember all the talk that people did not want to work with Trent Baalke? Baalke's this, Baalke's that. Why is Shad Khan so loyal to Baalke? Remember all that? That was just in mid to late January. Crept into early February. What a time that was. Every single day, we would come into work here on 1010XL, and there would be this rumor or that rumor, or somebody from Phoenix would call us, or somebody from Tampa would call us off the air, and we would get all sorts of rumors, man. It was a soap opera. It was fun. It was fun as heck. Reality radio at its finest. But keep in mind, the first person the Jaguars interviewed, first person, his name was Doug Peterson. About 5 weeks after that, the guy they hired was named Doug Peterson. So I will remember, and I'm sure you will remember, the coaching search as one of the main stories this offseason. And if Doug Peterson turns out not to do a good job, turns out not to be a successful head coach here in Jacksonville, we absolutely will refer back to that coaching search. But, if he turns out to be the answer for Trevor Lawrence, turns out to be a very, very good hire by Shad Khan. By the way, happy birthday today, Mr. Khan. If he turns out to be the guy they think he is, you won't think about that coaching search after the season begins. But it was fascinating for the 35 or so days of this offseason that it transpired. What's transpiring right now in Atlanta, Georgia, is SEC Media Days. Frank Frangie is up there in Atlanta for 1010XL. You get him every day on the Frangie Show. He joins me next. What about Florida? What are they saying about the Gators up there with the assorted SEC media? Greg Sankey had some very interesting things to say today. The commissioner of the Southeastern Conference. What about scheduling? What about conference realignment? What about conference expansion? Sankey hit them all. Frangie was in the room while Sankey was addressing the media. Let's go to Atlanta and talk to Frank Frangie. That's next. Hacker After Dark on a Monday. We're glad you're with us, Jacksonville.
The heat is hard to beat.
Sometimes I wonder what I'm gonna do, cause there ain't no cure for the summertime blues.
1010XL, your cure for the summertime blues.
Mia O'Brien here. Have you seen the duck around town? No, not just any duck. I'm talking about Duck Duck Rooter. In just 3 years, they've grown into one of the largest plumbing and septic companies in Florida. And their hardworking team is based right here in Jacksonville, FLA. From septic tank pump-outs, septic inspections, drain field installations, sump pump repair, they do it all. And they are the only master septic contractor on the First Coast. So when you're stuck, call the Duck, 904-862-6769.
Ben, if you suffer from erectile dysfunction or PE, you can call other clinics and hope for the best. Or you can experience the Prime Men's Medical Center difference. Their licensed physicians offer treatments that have a 98% success rate, regardless of age or medical history. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Brown. If you're not the man you used to be in the bedroom, Prime Men's Medical Center offers custom blended medications with personalized care. Even men who have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. And it's affordable.
Men, if Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, schedule a private consultation to experience the Prime Men's Medical Center difference. See results on your first visit, guaranteed, or your consultation is free. Call 904-664-8217. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
Here for Roof It Right. You know the drill. Hey, that's our show. Don't let anyone touch your roof until you got a quote from my friends at Roof It Right. Storm season right around the corner. Get prepared now with an inspection from Jacksonville's Master Elite Roofer, and sleep easy knowing your home is protected by the area's best materials and best warranties. There's a lot of roofers here in town. Roof It Right is the company I trust. Schedule your estimates today at roofitRightFL.com. That's roofitRightFL.com, and see why your friends and neighbors say Roof It Right so you can sleep at night.
honestly, this is one of the best jobs I've had.
Drivers and mechanics, listen up. Waste Management is now offering a $5,000 new hire bonus to CDL drivers and heavy truck mechanics for job opportunities at our sites in Jacksonville, Green Cove Springs, Callahan, and St. Augustine.
There's so much more to Waste Management than what you think it is.
Waste Management offers steady work, competitive pay, weekly paychecks, opportunities for overtime, paid training, and a generous food and tool allowance.
Plus industry-leading benefits, like 100% tuition coverage for you and your family, and your home every day.
The benefits were great. They're the best I've seen in a long time.
CDL drivers and heavy truck mechanics apply online today at WM.com/careers. That's WM.com/careers. Search driver and mechanic jobs in Jacksonville, Green Cove Springs, Callahan, and St. Augustine, Florida.
A people-first, military-friendly, equal opportunity employer.
We are WM.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey for Accelerated Tax Solutions. Who do you trust when dealing with the IRS? You can't trust them to do things right by you. You need a reliable advocate, a real team of local experts on your side, led by attorneys, a group with leadership, having combined 35 plus years of experience helping people just like you resolve their tax issues. Don't wait. Call Accelerated Tax Solutions today. You can trust my friends. That's Accelerated Tax Solutions. Accelerate your tax solutions with Accelerated Tax Solutions.
Registration is now open for the Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament. Over $250,000 in cash and prizes available, with payouts up to 20 places. Of course, there's awesome prizes for lady anglers, and bring along your junior anglers as well. Anyone can get in on the fun this year. Register today at kingfishtournament.com. Even if you're not in the water, spectators will enjoy exhibits, food, kids' activities, and a fireworks display. See you at the Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament.
Though no longer little, teens still need a lot of love. Yet teens in foster care have a harder time finding it, as 82% of foster families are home to kids 12 or younger. You can positively impact a teen's life as a foster parent with help from Family Support Services of North Florida. You provide patience, love, and understanding, and Family Support Services will offer specialized training, resources, and a community of support. Take the next step at foster-now.org. That's foster-now.org.
Concrete floors don't have to be ugly and hard to clean. Whether it's a garage with cracks, tire marks, and failed epoxy, or any concrete surface that isn't beautiful and maintenance-free, Shark Coatings will transform it. Our coating and warranty are stronger, more durable, and longer lasting than any other on the market. And because Shark Coatings is 100% UV stable for life, it's perfect for any concrete surface outside as well. Shark Coatings will let you reclaim those wasted hours spent pressure washing your driveway, patios, and walkways. Hit us up on social media or call 904-519-5055 to set up your free estimate today.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On July 18th, 2021, British Open men's golf, Colin Morikawa becomes the first male in history to win his debut at two separate major events.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. This is Hacker After Dark on 1010XL. Now, another interview on the Farah and Farah phone line, brought to you by the accident attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. It is a Monday evening in the city of Jacksonville, and we are glad you are with us. The SEC Media Days kicked off today up in Atlanta, Georgia. Frank Frangie was in attendance representing 1010XL. He's with us here on Hacker After Dark. Frank, thank you for the time, man. How are you?
Heck, I'm doing great. I think it's my 34th one here. So I'm guessing you were 5, give or take, when I first started coming to this thing. So, yeah, it's good. It's a different setup than you've seen. It's in Atlanta now, and it's at the College Football Hall of Fame. Second time they've done it here. But it's a crazy world of college athletics now, brother. So a lot to cover in these next 4 days for sure.
There's no question about that. And, Frank, I was watching Commissioner Greg Sankey give his, I guess, State of the SEC annual address today. And holy moly, from NILs to expansion to the college football playoff. I mean, very little talk, Frank, about actual on-the-field activities. Like you said, what an offseason it's been.
Yeah, I think Sankey. It was interesting. I kind of walked with him when he was walking. I walked next to him when he was talking to some other people when he walked to the podium, Hacker. And it was loose. He was confident. He was funny, but he really just threw a broad stroke over a lot of the stuff. Kind of almost summarized where we've been in the last year and a half: Texas and Oklahoma, and now the USC UCLA thing, and NIL, and expanded playoffs. So that was kind of, and you heard it. That was kind of his overview. But then he got a little testy, which I thought was kind of cool. I thought the most passionate he was about NIL, about the fact that how troublesome it is that schools have to play by different rules because different state legislatures have passed different laws. I thought that was the most passionate I heard him about something. He said, we've got to find a way to have a national voice and a national directive so Alabama doesn't play by a different rule than South Carolina. And he's right about that. I mean, somehow, I'm not smart enough, I'm not a politician, Hack, but somehow we got to figure that part out. That's a problem. And I thought that's what he was most passionate about. I thought it was clear when he was asked if Texas and Oklahoma is better than USC, UCLA, he said yes. And he made it clear that we have contiguous states, meaning they're all connected. I thought that was instructive for me. That means I don't think he's pursuing Washington or Oregon or Notre Dame. Did you notice that? He was clear to say that he thought the geography mattered. He also made it clear that they haven't shut down the thought that they may do more. I thought that was interesting too. He said, we're not looking to do anything. We're actually just going to sit back and see what everybody else does. But it's clear. I thought he might say, we're good with our 16. We'll move forward. He didn't say that. He said we're going to listen. So it's clear to me there could be further expansion. So a very interesting address from Greg Sankey.
Frank Franchi here with us up at SEC Media Days in Atlanta, Georgia. Frank, I completely agree with you. Listening to Sankey, he left the door open, but I thought it was clear, and you tell me what your read was. Last year when the Texas-Oklahoma news broke at Media Days 2021, I got the sense there would not be any breaking news this year. Nothing seemed imminent like what we saw a year ago.
Yeah, you're not going to see it today or tomorrow. I agree with that. But I think my take from him was he wanted to be clear that he's not making any commitments either way on that. So I'm not – a lot of people seem to think something else is going to happen. It's all about Notre Dame, by the way, and this gets away from the SEC. And I know you want to talk about SEC. But once Notre Dame makes a decision, then I think you'll see some activity. The other big thing about this act is, did you notice when someone asked him, do you anticipate Texas and Oklahoma might get here early? Did you notice that part? Did you think there's a chance they'll come early? And he said, that's not up to me. That's between them and their current conference. Well, I think extrapolate that a little bit, Hack. I think the same thing could be said about FSU and Clemson or Miami. If the SEC wanted them, it doesn't matter right now because they've got that grant of rights through 2000. Today, it's not Greg Sankey's business whether or not he could pursue anybody else. And I think that would have been his answer if they would have asked specifically about those schools. So I don't think anything's happening this week, but I'm more intrigued that something could happen than I was before he spoke.
Frank, in conversations I've had with Gator fans here in Jacksonville, one of the things they've taken a real interest in is the future scheduling in the conference. Look, it's been the same for 30 years. You play South Carolina, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Tennessee. We know all the teams. But now there's two different formats on the table. There's one constant, meaning every year, and potentially 7 rotators, if you will, or 3 every year opponents and 6 rotators. That, of course, means you go to 9 conference games. What, if anything, did Sankey say about that?
He didn't commit. He made it clear that divisions are gone. He was very clear when he said, look, we've had divisions forever. We've now got to learn how to navigate a world without them. So all the expectations that the division world is over, he kind of confirmed that. He said he's been adamant from the get-go that students get to go to every campus if they're there 4 years. And I think that's going to happen. But as for the 2 specific scenarios that are being floated, 9 games with 3 permanent or 8 with fewer, he did not commit to that. My guess is they'll get to 9. That's my guess. So that's not what you asked me. You asked me what he said. But my guess is, Hacker, they will go to 9 and they will have 3 permanent. I would be surprised if that's not what they do. He even kind of joked about, nobody's asked me about 10. What about 10? And then he said, no, I'm just kidding. We're not considering that. But I think they'll go to 9. He did not commit to that. But he made it clear, if you heard him, There will not be divisions, and every student athlete, if they stay 4 years, will get a chance to play on every campus, which is kind of cool. It's a cool idea.
No, I think it is too. And look, people have accused me of orange and blue goggles, whatever. You've gotten that for years as well, I'm sure. The fact that Florida is going to College Station for the third time this year since A&M joined the conference, and the fact that Georgia has never been there, Frank, that's fundamentally wrong, and that's what needs to be changed.
It is, and it does, and it will. But I see that a little bit differently, and so I agree with you. I think that will change. It will be more even, and that's one of the things they're going to try and get done. They've done it random. Your point is it shouldn't be done randomly, which it was, because if it's done randomly, that affects competitive balance, and I agree with that. I don't disagree with you at all. I feel a little differently. I feel like if this had been 1996 or 95, we wouldn't have given a damn where Florida went. They'd have gone and mowed down A&M, and they'd have mowed down Arkansas, and they'd have mowed down anybody else they played. I think that's where Georgia is right now. I think Georgia is the equivalent of the mid-90s or the 2006, 7, and 8 Gators, and that is I don't think they care who they play. So you're right about competitive balance when you're ordinary, and Florida's become ordinary. But if you're what Florida was in the 90s, if you're what Florida was in the urban years, you don't care who you play. And in fairness to Georgia, I think that's where their head is right now. So I think Florida fans see that a little differently because their team is not what Georgia's team is. That's how I see it.
A couple of more for Frank Frangie. Of course, you get him every afternoon on the Frangie Show. He's live in Atlanta at SEC Media Days. Frank, you've been on the ground there for a little less than 24 hours, but I'm curious because on paper, it appears it's Alabama and everybody else in the West and Georgia and everybody else in the East. Is that the way it feels up there?
We just got here, and I think the voting will go Alabama, and then Alabama will win the East, the West, and Georgia will win the East. But, I get a feeling that there's been movement on some of the other campuses. Remember this. What complicates what you just asked is the newness of coaching at other schools that have been traditional powers. LSU has a brand new coach, okay? They've been a traditional power. Florida has a brand new coach. They've been a traditional power. So that changes things. Texas A&M is kind of in the mix of next in line. Auburn's been a sort of power hacker, and they've got a coach who might get fired this year in his second year because of all the stuff we've all talked about. So if you add it all up, I think, yes, Alabama and Georgia, we pick to win it. Keep an eye on Tennessee. I'll bet Tennessee gets picked second. I'll bet you, write that down. I'll bet the media picks Tennessee second. When's the last time that happened, by the way? Was Peyton there? The last time the media picked Tennessee second, Casey Clausen was probably the quarterback, right? So I think it'll be Alabama and Georgia in the divisions, but I think the numbers will be closer. Georgia will be a landslide winner in the East. I think the numbers will be closer than people think in the West.
Frank, as we wrap up, I haven't had a chance really to talk with you about Florida. In the preseason magazines, Athlon and Lindy's have them fourth in the East. Phil Steele likes them a little bit more. I think he had them second in the East. Bottom line is, based on the people I've talked to, and you tell me if you agree, it's Georgia, and then 2 through 5 is kind of like rotators. South Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee, Florida. A lot's going to come down to injuries. A lot's going to come down to quarterback play. How do you see the East coming into the year?
Well, I'm going to answer the question two ways. First of all, I'm going to talk about the fact that Florida is not highly regarded. You know where Florida was ranked Steve Spurrier's first year before they played Oklahoma State? You know they're ranked?
I don't.
Unranked.
Wow.
Okay, they were unranked. Okay, so remember, because they weren't very good in 88 and 89. So they were unranked, and nobody knew how this new quarterback, Shane Matthews, would be. So you kind of got to – the point is you got to kind of rebuild that hack. Excuse me. And I think Florida's got to kind of rebuild their presence as a power team and an elite team. Alabama had to do the same thing before Saban got there. Here's what I think. I think Florida is a 7-win team because they're not very good on the defensive front. In this league, you have to have quarterback play and defensive line, and now receivers. But historically – give me quarterback play and defensive line, and you're going to be really good in the SEC. I don't think Florida's very good on the defensive front. I mean, I think they're really going to struggle there. I think teams are going to run on them. The East has gotten better. So I think they're a 7 or 8 win team. As far as who finished, I'm going to pick Tennessee second. I think they got the right guy in Josh Heupel. I think Hendon Hooker took to him. I think they play fast. Well, what made Florida so good in the 90s, Hack, is Spurrier brought something that nobody else was doing. That passing game, nobody else was doing it. Well, now everybody's doing it. Well, Josh Heupel has brought something to Tennessee that nobody else is doing. They're playing 100 miles an hour. You know how they don't substitute. They catch the ball, they run it to the umpire, then they line up real quick. And so until people figure that out, that gives them an advantage, the same way Florida had it in the 90s. I think it's Georgia, Tennessee, And then I think that whole Florida, South Carolina, Kentucky thing, people like Kentucky and South Carolina because they've got good transfer quarterbacks. And Will Levis, who played last year, and Spencer Rattler showing up this year. If Anthony Richardson's good, heck, they're going to win 9 or 10 games. I mean, he's great. If there's some growing pains, they're going to win 7 or 8 games and finish, I think, probably third in the East. That's my take.
Well, certainly a tough start for Florida with Utah, Kentucky, and Tennessee all in the first month of the season. Frank, you're up there with Mia and Matt Hayes. What can people expect as the week goes on?
Yeah, I think the big day for us, Hacker, is Wednesday. That's when Florida and Georgia will be here. Sam Pittman just confirmed he's going to join us. We'll have Billy Napier that day on one of the 2 shows. We'll have Kirby Smart that day on one of the 2 shows. We'll have Anthony Richardson. We'll have Stetson Bennett. We're going to have all those guys. So Wednesday's our big day. Tomorrow, Commissioner Greg Sankey joins us. He's going to start my program and talk. And I'm going to ask him, kind of pound on him a little bit about some of the things he said today. So I think he was very, very outspoken today. So on the Tuesday program tomorrow, I think Greg Sankey, Alabama will be here. We don't know if we're going to have Nick Saban tomorrow, but we're hopeful that we will. But the big day for us will be Wednesday when Florida and Georgia get here. And you know the drill, Hack. It's a lot of people, about 1,200 members of the media. It's kind of crazy. We love every minute of it.
It's the unofficial kickoff to college football season, the SEC Media Days in Atlanta. Frank Frangie of The Frangie Show. Frank, thank you for the time, man. Know you're busy up there. We appreciate it. We'll do it again soon.
Okay, Hack. Thanks, buddy. Take care, man.
Yeah, that was earlier today with Frank Frangie right after Greg Sankey addressed the SEC media in Atlanta. Frank also had the opportunity to sit down with Matt Hayes and talk to Brian Kelly, the brand new head coach at LSU. I thought it was interesting. Kelly was at Notre Dame for the last 12 to 13 years, right? They're the only school that doesn't do media days. So this was Brian Kelly's first media days, if you will, since his days at Cincinnati. Back when, were they in Conference USA then? In 2008, 2009?
I think it was the Big East.
Maybe the Big East. Yeah, maybe that was what it was. Because, the American Conference didn't even exist back then. I just thought that was an interesting note because Notre Dame obviously isn't in a conference, thus they don't have media days. But Brian Kelly did sit down with Frank Frangie and Matt Hayes earlier today here on 1010XL, and we'll play that for you coming up in just a little bit. Home Run Derby is underway out at Chavez Ravine in Los Angeles. We will keep you updated as well. Monday night, Hacker After Dark. We're glad you're with us. George Reister, former Jaguar tight end, coming up in less than 25 minutes. We'll go back to Atlanta. Brian Kelly, sit down here on 1010XL. That's next. Hacker After Dark on a Monday. We're glad you're with us, Jacksonville.
In the jungle, the only way a lion survives, not by acting like a king, by being the king.
1010XL.
It's summertime and the beach is calling your name. Chris here with Sliders Oyster Bar at Neptune Beach. I want to invite you all to our newly renovated family-owned restaurant that I guarantee you will only be served the freshest seafood in Jacksonville. My family and I wanted to see that our beaches community only gets the best, so we built you the best. Tons more seating, upgraded kitchen, fully stocked bar, and of course, fresh oysters. Come see us at Sliders Oyster Bar in Neptune Beach, locally owned and operated by Safe Harbor Seafood.
In the wee hours of the night, when everyone else is fast asleep, you're the one on third shift, burning the midnight oil. When a part fails and everything comes to a grinding halt, regardless of what the clock on the wall says, you leap into action. Grainger is with you and all the ones who get it done. With 24/7 customer support by phone or click to chat. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ladies, are you interested in golf but not sure where to start? Well, golf needs a little refreshment, and we believe the answer is female. You are invited to be part of LEGS, the Lady Executive Golf Society, a place for business for women of all levels to come together in an exclusive environment to learn about golf, grow their businesses, laugh, and improve your game. Join us for our signature events, where you choose 9 and Wine or a group lesson every first and third Wednesday of each month, where we can grow and learn together. Go to ladiesexecutivegolfsociety.com.
Hey, Jacksonville, we need your help. It may be summer, but school is just around the corner. Hundreds of local homeless, at-risk, and low-income students need school supplies. One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union, is collecting school supplies through July 30th, so our most vulnerable kids can start the school year right. Be a good person and help us fill 350 backpacks this summer. Bring donations to your nearest One-to-One Financial branch. Learn more and find the closest branch at one-to-one-fcu.org. And don't forget, the school supply tax holiday is the last week of July. Thanks, Jacksonville.
Keeping your body healthy and active leads to a more vibrant life. A great place to do that is the First Coast YMCA. The Y is equipped with state-of-the-art cardio and strength equipment, plus group exercise studios where trainers host activities like yoga, Zumba, and cycling sessions. The full-court basketball gym and indoor 5-lane swimming pool are open year-round. The Kids Zone can keep an eye on your kids while you work on that dad bod. And it's all available with your family membership. Learn more at fcymca.org.
Wholesale prices, premium service, Tire Outlet.
Mike Dempsey here. This summer, go further with Tire Outlet. Visit them online or at any of their 13 locations in Northeast Florida to shop their top flagship brands like Kumo and Yokohama. I literally just purchased my new set of tires last month. Let Tire Outlet find the right fit for you. Visit TireOutlet.com to find your store today.
Wholesale prices, premium service, Tire Outlet.
People often think if they don't have symptoms, they shouldn't get tested for colon cancer. If you're 45 or older, it's time to get checked. Hicken here for the Borland Groover Foundation. The key to surviving colon cancer, early detection and prevention. Protect your end zone. If you're over 45, ask your doctor about a colonoscopy. 45 is the new 50. The Borland Groover Foundation is a nonprofit organization devoted to helping the community and save lives. Visit BorlandGrooverFoundation.com for more.
When it comes to commercial fence services, Superior Fence and Rail has you covered. If your business needs automatic gates or security fence and railings, trust Superior with your next commercial project. Superior's team delivers great communication, high-quality products, and exceptional customer service. Just read any of their 2,300-plus reviews.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Incubus. Live. July 26th, Daly's Place. One incredible night with Incubus. And very special guest, Sublime with Rome. Incubus. On sale now. Buy tickets online at Ticketmaster.com. Don't miss Incubus. Live.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. What's better than beer? Cold beer. Put your company logo on a custom koozie. Check them out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Did you know that July is National Carpet Cleaning Month? To celebrate, Zero Res offering 25% off all carpet cleaning in your home. Book online at ZeroResJacksonville.com or give them a call. Zero Res. You spell it forwards or backwards. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach. This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Day one, SEC Media Days. We'll go back to Atlanta. Play the Brian Kelly interview for you. He caught up with Frangie and Matt Hayes here on 1010XL earlier today. As we are at halftime on Hacker After Dark, 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We're with you until 10 o'clock this evening. As always, streaming. You can watch the show live on YouTube, the 1010XL YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, click 1010XL. You'll see us there until 10 o'clock. You'll also see us on my own personal Twitter, at Ryan Green 1010XL, at Ryan Green 1010XL. Speaking of social media, congratulations to Dan, Mia, our buddy Graham, that really put the whole Book of Bo together. Dan Hicken, Mia O'Brien, the Chief, Graham Marsh. There were certainly others involved. Those were the three main ones. Episode 1 dropped today. Outstanding. There will be 6 episodes in total. The Book of Bo, every Monday and every Friday until his induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Episode 1 that came out this morning was all about the early years in the state of Colorado. Look, I brag about us all the time here on 1010XL. I'm lucky enough to be one of the originals. I was here when the doors opened in April of 2007. Very proud of that I've spent over 15 years of my life on this radio station. And we've done some awesome, awesome things. This documentary that they put together, it's up there, man. It's really, really good. You can find it on the 1010XL YouTube channel, 1010XL Facebook. You can find the links to it on the 1010XL Twitter handle, where you would find your normal podcasts as well, like Gator Bites, like Death, Taxes, and Duval, like All Things Gators. If you're a Jaguar fan, if you're a Tony Baselli fan, highly, highly recommend it. Episode 1 is out now. Episode 2 will come out Friday at 9 a.m. I was looking over Brian Kelly's numbers. Brian Kelly, truthfully, I give Matt Hayes grief because Matt Hayes is a big Brian Kelly fan. His numbers are pretty good. He's 34-6 at Cincinnati. Here are his last 5 years at Notre Dame. You ready for this? 10-3, 12-1, 11-2, 10-2, 11-1 at Notre Dame. He takes over an LSU program that's only 2.5 years removed from winning a national championship. But what really is he taking over? LSU is kind of the equivalent of Florida out west. Very good, lots of heritage, lots of prestige, a little bit of a rebuild in 2022. Brian Kelly was at SEC Media Days today. He talked with us here on 1010XL with Frank Frangie and Matt Hayes. And here is that conversation right now.
Welcome back, everybody, to SEC Media Days. Frank Frangie, Matt Hayes. What a pleasure to welcome in Brian Kelly, the LSU football coach. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on, Frank. Matt, good to see you guys.
You having fun? You look like you're having fun down there.
You know what? I mean, this is what it's all about, right? This is the stage, right? I mean, there's so many media following SEC football. That's a good thing. Listen, I was in the Big East the last time I did this, and I had to beg the media to come and see us. So
the lobster bake in
exactly.
Rhode Island, right?
In Newport. You know, it was a great thing, but there wasn't a lot of people there. They came for the lobster bake, not for the teams.
Listen, I've seen you so many years. You look fantastic, man. Are you re-energized now at LSU?
Yes, it's been really a great opportunity. Look, it's hard to make that decision. I'm leaving a great place, the Notre Dame, to come down to LSU, but it just seemed like the right time, the right place. I loved President Tate was amazing on the interview process, and I know Scott Woodward for a long time, and he's hard to say no to. And I wanted this chance. I wanted to come to the SEC. I wanted to get measured against the very best week in and week out. So it's been great.
Brian, how are the challenges different? I mean, you're at the top of the food chain at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Yet you're now at the top of the conference food chain here. How are the challenges different as you see it?
Well, I think more so on a day-to-day basis, what you're dealing with is your schedule is such that you're getting the hardest teams week in and week out. Quite frankly, I think our record was like 46-4 in the ACC. You know what I mean? You're not going to be 46-4 in the SEC. I mean, let's just face it. I mean, you're playing Georgia and you're Alabama and you've got all these great teams week in and week out. It's a battle. You're trying to survive, and so I wanted that challenge week in and week out, where you had to prepare your football team the right way. You had to rely on depth in recruiting. You had to rely on making sure you're taking care of your guys the right way and have the resources necessary. So I think that's a little bit different.
So you've been a quarterback guy all your life.
Yeah.
I always tell the story how you won a conference championship with 3 different quarterbacks.
That's right.
Now you've got 3 again in LSU. Are you comfortable with all 3 right now?
I am as we go into preseason camp, but we're not going to play all 3. I mean, we're going to have to figure this out. And, I think each one of them does something a little bit differently, but they're all going to have to do one thing, and that is take care of the football, get the ball to playmakers, and I got playmakers. That's one thing that I've inherited. And then, look, they got to keep plays alive. That's college football today. If you're a quarterback that just drops back and that's it, the play's got to stay alive. And so those three things have to happen at that position. We'll figure out who can do that in preseason camp, and that'll be our quarterback. And I think we got 3, probably 4 that can probably do that for us.
Brian Kelly with us, the LSU coach. Miles Brennan's journey's been an interesting one. I mean that he there's some fortitude in there, Brian.
There is.
He stayed the course, didn't he?
He sure did. I mean, he could have bailed on this at any time and said, hey, I'll go play at X school, Tulane, East Carolina, whatever, and I'll be the starter. He's our best leader. I mean, bar none, he is our best leader. He throws the ball better than anybody outside the hash. He knows the offense. Don't count him out. He's that kind of guy. If he delivers the ball on time to the playmakers, he's going to be in the thick of it. Now, Jaden Daniels is explosive. He can turn the game around in 1 second. He runs 21, 22 miles an hour, and he's got 3 years of experience in the Pac-12. He's played a lot of football. And Garrett Nussmeier might be the most talented of all the quarterbacks. So, look, I'm not crying poor mouth here either. We've got some quarterbacks, but we've got some work to do to figure out because I can't put all 3 of them out there at the same time.
So there's been a narrative going around the offseason about how LSU the talent isn't where it should be or where it has been in the past. When you walked in there, did you see the talent necessary to win immediately?
No, it's down a little bit. We need to move it up. I mean, we had to take too many guys through the transfer portal. You don't want to be taking other guys' players. I mean, that's not how you do things at a place like LSU. You develop talent through freshman recruiting. And we need to do that. We're probably a couple of years away from that. 23. This class is a bit of a transition class because we started in December. So you're behind when you start in December. 24, 25, I think we're going to do really well. Now, we had nothing to show. We finished last year in the league. Right. And this 23 class is going to be a pretty good class, and we have nothing to show. 24, 25, we do the things that we're talking about. I think then we could have the kind of talent necessary to compete for a national championship.
Brian, how hard is managing? Everyone talks about it, but you have to do it. How hard is managing the NIL in today's world of recruiting?
Well, it's a lot easier when you pass a law in your state that allows you to help manage it because you have to manage it. If you can't touch it and you have to turn it over to a third party, you can't manage it. It's impossible. Somebody else is managing it for you, and then you lose all control, and that's not what it was intended for. So we're able to manage it. We're able to educate. We're able to talk to them about how to file taxes, how to help them with their deals, do those kinds of things. That, to me, is a lot more manageable. It's not great, but it's better.
Brian Kelly, the LSU coach. Hey, man, welcome to the SEC. Thanks for spending some time. We sure appreciate it.
My pleasure, guys.
Thank you, Brian.
Appreciate it.
All right, Brian Kelly, the LSU football coach at SEC Media Days.
Well, I got to tell you, that's the first time I've heard that interview, and good job by Frank and Matt to get Brian Kelly. I'm sure he was pretty in high demand there in Atlanta. What an honest comment he made. They asked him, is the talent there? He said, no. It's not where it should be. It'll take us a couple of years. Now, that's an honest comment, and I commend him for that. It's also a CYA move as well in case Alabama beats you by 3 touchdowns. In case Florida beats you by a couple of scores and Texas A&M gets one over on you, and all of a sudden you look up and you're 7-5, 6-6, and you're number 1. Well, then you can refer back and say, yeah, I told you early in the year that we didn't have the talent. So I kind of like the honesty, but I also think that might be a little bit of a crutch if things do not go well for LSU. And it starts out for LSU against Florida State. Seminole fan, you are Brian Kelly's first game at LSU.
I have always liked Florida State.
Oh, man. You want to talk about Chief Osceola and Renegade? I am going to be fired up in my garnet and gold.
You're talking dirty to me, and I kind of like it.
There's no doubt, because I really, really, really want to be able to give Matt Hayes the thumbs up after Labor Day if Florida State were to beat Brian Kelly on his first game at LSU. But nevertheless, thank you to Brian Kelly for joining us here on 1010XL, and you'll get a lot of head coaches and a lot of players throughout the Southeastern Conference coming up in the next couple of days. Denmark, how are we looking on the home run derby here. I'm trying to keep tabs on it. I don't believe Pete Alonso is gone yet, and that's who everybody is waiting on. Wow, this guy's got 18 of them right now.
Yeah, Juan Soto's hitting right now. I think the guy that declined the $430 million deal.
Oh, this is the guy that's going to get traded, yeah, because he said no to $440 million. That must be a really interesting life. You want $440 million? No, I'm good.
Yeah, no thanks.
I'm okay with that. I'll go to greener pastures elsewhere. I love the Derby. Love everything about it. I'm recording it at the house. Going to watch it when I get home. But, yeah, Soto's up now, and it did not go well for him. 10 homers for Soto. Don't know if that's going to be good enough to advance into round number 2. Coming up next, Hacker After Dark on a Monday. We've been basically all college tonight. Let's get to the National Football League. Former Jaguar tight end George Reister. You hear him now on Sirius XM Mad Dog Radio. I want to talk to George Reister about a number of things. The Jaguars coming into 2022. I want to get his thoughts on Doug Peterson and the hire there. I want to talk a little bit about Tony Boselli because Reister is a national sports talk host now. He's gone from former player to big-time member of the sports media, and he is out in Pac-12 territory. He's a very proud alum of the University of Oregon. What is going to become of the Pac-12 now that USC is gone? Well, in 2024. Now that UCLA will be gone in 2024. We'll talk to George Reister about all of that. That's next on Hacker After Dark.
Catch the biggest NASCAR races on 1010XL.
It's starting to close that gap a little bit.
This Sunday at Pocono Raceway, brought to you by Famous Automotive Tire and Quick Lube, treating every customer like they're famous on 1010XL.
15,000 workers. I'm Brian Rose from Remedy Staffing. We survey 15,000 blue-collar workers each year to better understand what drives quality and dependability in our workforce. The survey shows when looking for a new job, the initial pay rate, job security, and safety while working are the most important factors for hourly workers. If you're an employer and would like to learn more about the voice of the blue-collar worker, please call us at 904-528-1933.
Next time you're tempted to speed, think about who's waiting for you at home. On average, 8 people are killed each day in crashes on Florida's roadways, so slow down. Pay attention behind the wheel and help drive roadway fatalities down to 0. Let's get everyone home, Florida. Don't let a fast drive be your last drive. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Pella Windows and Doors. These intense summer storms are a good reminder to visit the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. Check out Pella's new Hurricane Shield and Defender series. These amazing windows exceed all coastal requirements for storm protection. Seriously, they can withstand the impact of a 2x4 shot out of a cannon at 50 feet per second. You want quality, style, and protection? Visit PellaJacks.com and the showroom on Phillips Highway right next to Tesla. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
Listen up, plumbers and plumbers helpers. This is Coach Ellen Darley of Darley's Plumbing. Now, there's plenty of jobs where you just show up for work, but when you join the Darley's team, you're part of the family. And we're more than just a great place to work. You'll have excellent pay rates, benefits, health insurance, and ask about our Weenie Wednesdays. At Darley's, we're busy, and you will be too. So if you're an experienced plumber, call us today and join my team at Darley's Plumbing, where quality counts.
Equal opportunity employer.
We want people to feel that when they call Harrell & Harrell, they're calling Harrell & Harrell. They're not calling a satellite office or call center or getting an automated phone system. We are with our clients, fighting for our clients, handling the process ourselves and not asking others to do that for us. I mean, we feel like we made the right decision to be the size that we are, large enough to take on anyone, but small enough to care and really know our clients. Offices, Jacksonville. This is Brandon with North Florida Epoxy Floors. Our product gives you a custom high-quality appearance and the longest-lasting finish at a more affordable price. So for your garage, home, or business, research the difference between 100% solids epoxy and the products like polyurea, which can be kinda fishy. Our epoxy includes a moisture vapor barrier, essential in Florida, so your North Florida epoxy floor looks great and is warranted with no fine print.
Get a free estimate at NorthFloridaEpoxyFloors.com.
What is the oldest bridge here in Jacksonville? The answer next.
How long has it been since you compared homeowners' insurance rates? Log on to southernoak.com to get an instant quote or find an agent near you.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The Acosta Bridge, originally known as the Yellow Monster, was finished in 1921, just celebrated its 100th birthday.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Has your energy just felt like it's gone poof lately? It could be low testosterone. Get your oomph back. Schedule a screening today with Ackerman Urology at 904-490-7400 or ackermanurology.com.
Registration is now open for the 1-to-1 Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament. Over $300,000 in cash and prizes available, to include first place fish winning a Contender 25 with twin Yamahas. Tournament payouts up to 20 places large and 20 places aggregate. Of course, there's big cash for prizes for lady anglers too. First place junior angler wins an Ohana 14 with motor and trailer. Register today at kingfishtournament.com.
Do you suffer from mild to moderate high blood pressure? Should you be taking medication but are currently not on anything? Or maybe taking medication but unsatisfied with the results? If so, CNS Healthcare invites you to take part in a clinical research study for mild to moderate hypertension at no cost. Qualified participants may receive reimbursements for study procedures and travel. For your no-cost study assessment, call CNS Healthcare at 904-281-5757 or visit cnshealthcare.com for more on this mild to moderate hypertension research study.
Mystic Cornhole Company is the first choice for high-quality custom boards made right here in Jacksonville. But if you have a cornhole emergency, drop by their shop on Phillips Highway and pick up your new set today. MysticCornholeCompany.com.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On July 18th, 2021, British Open men's golf, Colin Morikawa becomes the first male in history to win his debut at 2 separate major events.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL. Now, hello. Another great guest on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the accident attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Training camp for the Jacksonville Jaguars starts in less than 2 weeks. Hard to believe, and in fact, Tony Boselli will be heading into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton in about 3.5 weeks' time. George Reister played for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He is now all over the media circuit. He has a show on SiriusXM, Mad Dog Radio. He's also got UnafraidShow.com, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. George, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Excited. It is the best time of the year where it's anticipating football season, but not so far away that like you don't feel like you can taste it and touch it, but close enough that you're still excited.
George, there's a lot I want to get into with you about the Jaguars, your former team. I also want to touch upon the Pac-12. You were an Oregon Duck. You obviously love that conference, and I want to talk about the future out there. But Tony Boselli, going into Canton, I'm kind of asking every former Jaguar this. As a guy that didn't necessarily play with Tony, but played for the same organization, see the Jaguars get on the national map, having a guy in Canton now in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Your reaction to Tony getting inducted here in a couple of weeks?
I think that's big. I mean, it's the first Jaguar to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, which is huge. Hopefully that paves the way for the greatest Jaguar of all time, Fred Taylor, to get into the Hall of Fame. And yeah, I'm excited for him. I've had a chance to meet him a few times. Nothing but good things to say about him. And I think for the franchise, it's actually really good because they're one of the few franchises who have been shut out of the Hall of Fame.
You know, George, it's interesting you bring up Fred Taylor because all the talk here in Jacksonville for years was get Tony in, social media, you know, basically knock it on doors to try to get Boselli into the Hall of Fame. Whether that had anything to do with it, I don't know, but certainly I don't think it hurt. Now that Tony's going in, you kind of get the vibe from Jaguar fans, Jaguar media, guys like you as well, that Fred Taylor is going to be the next guy that we're going to really be trying to get into Canton, Ohio.
Oh, for sure, because everybody who is ahead of him on the rushing list and those that were behind him when he just finished, they're all in the Hall of Fame. So you're saying, all right, how does he not get in? I mean, and when you think about it, he was one of the leaders in the league in 50-yard runs, had like the career list and all of this stuff. So he's been instrumental. And I think that him being a part of the Jaguars community really is going to help with people pushing for his Cantonization, as I'll call it.
Former Jaguar tight end George Reister here with us on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. George, training camp for the Jaguars, less than 2 weeks. As a guy that played many years in the NFL, what is this period like for current players? You're 2 weeks out from camp. Is there excitement? Is there intrigue? Is there, oh my gosh, I got to practice in 100-degree weather? Kind of what are players thinking right now 2 weeks out?
Oh, it's a lot. It's all of those things. You are excited because this is an opportunity. I mean, for whether you are Trevor Lawrence, you are excited because you're like, this is an opportunity for me to make good and wash that bad season last year out of that taste out of my mouth. If you are Tom Brady, this is an opportunity to win a championship. If you are a player who is like Christian Kirk for the Jaguars, this is a big opportunity. You just cashed a big financial check, but you want to make good on that, because players want that greatness. They want that moment. So you see the opportunity in front of you, but also you're like, it's work time. But at the same time, I got to be honest, training camp ain't what it used to be. It is not what it used to be. These dudes have a lot more off days, a lot more off time. So, nobody's crying about, or I can't hear anybody crying about camp right now.
George, you mentioned Trevor Lawrence. He's heading into year 2. I'm curious, a guy that played tight end, you caught many passes from many different quarterbacks. What did you take away from Trevor's rookie year, or did you take anything away from it with all the nonsense that surrounded him here in Jacksonville a year ago?
Oh, I took nothing from it. I mean, I saw some moments where he looked good, which is positive, but I also saw some moments where you're like, I don't know, but that can be attributed to he had a saboteur at head coach. So with all the instability that was going on in Jacksonville, it's impossible to fairly judge him. So for him, he gets a mulligan in the court of public opinion, but then this year will be judged more harshly with a new head coach, a guy who has taken a team to a Super Bowl and won a Super Bowl. He in Doug Peterson, he's going to get judged more harshly or more favorably this year with however he performs.
Can you put into words the difference between Doug Peterson being here now as opposed to Urban Meyer last year?
We will see how Doug Peterson, how it shakes out, because it didn't work well with Carson Wentz. But that's my example of, where there's a lot more drama and a lot more noise compared to, it still makes waves sometimes, but ain't as big of a deal on a day-to-day basis.
George, again, former Jaguar George Reister here with us on 1010XL. You can catch him on Mad Dog, Sirius XM Radio weeknights, also unafraidshow.com. I had you on right at the start of the offseason, and we were talking about, what the Jaguars needed to address. Well, they addressed a lot. Christian Kirk, you mentioned, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram at your position at tight end. You get Travis Etienne back. George, do you think the Jaguars did enough this offseason to surround Trevor with talent?
Yes, they did plenty, but even more than that, you have to address the offensive line because no matter how good no matter how good a quarterback is, he needs his offensive line and the ability to run the football for a young quarterback. And you need the ability to play good defense. Like weapons are nice, but for a young quarterback, he needs to score on the other side to be kept down more. That way he doesn't have to feel like, oh, he's got to go out and score 30 points a game. So while they did address some holes on the offensive side, I think that shoring up the defense and running the football better with James Robinson and with Travis Etienne is going to be paramount.
You know, on the defensive side of the ball, they didn't really talk a lot about that, they being, well, I guess we in the media, but you bring in Fatukasi on the D-line, you bring in Foye Oluokun, who led the league in tackles last year at linebacker. Darius Williams won a ring with the Rams. He's here now. And you draft Travon Walker and Devin Lloyd. What was your take on the overhaul of the Jaguar defense?
It showed an understanding of what a young quarterback needs. It showed an understanding of trying to build a foundation. Now, granted, there are going to be some people like with the Walker selection at number one, that's going to be judged with how well he plays comparatively to the other defensive players who were taken right after him. I mean, Kayvon Thibodeau and the kid in Detroit.
Yeah, Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah. So if Thibodeau or Hutchinson comes out and has 15 sacks this year, it ain't going. And Travon Walker only has 6. It ain't gonna look as good. You know what I mean? So I think that they are building for the future and not trying to engage in a get rich quick scheme. Like that, they're trying to build pieces that will be there for a while and put together a good infrastructure that you can grow and build with.
Final moments here with former Jaguar tight end George Wrighster. George, before you were a Jaguar, you got green blood in your veins from your time as an Oregon Duck. I know how much you love that school, how much you love that conference. I haven't talked to you since USC and UCLA essentially defected to the Big Ten. What's next for the Pac-12? What's next for your Oregon Ducks? You're based out there on the West Coast. What's the thought going into not only this year, but for years to come?
Well, okay, so the Pac-12 media deal is up in 2024. They are going to be up for renegotiating that. They're already starting to talk to their TV partners with Fox and ESPN now to renegotiate the deal, but there's no renegotiating until you know who's going to be in the conference. And right now, the Big 12 is trying to post Arizona schools, Colorado, and Utah. And the Pac-12 is trying to negotiate a scheduling agreement with the ACC and ESPN, which may bring in more money. So the conference itself is trying to stay together and stay put. But the individual schools, it's such a weird dynamic because the conference is trying to stay together, but the schools are peeking around trying to figure out what's best for them on an individual basis. Like they want to make sure that they are putting themselves in the best position to financially be solvent and successful going forward, because a lot of this is coming down to finances when it comes to these schools.
You know, you could argue after Southern Cal and I guess UCLA, Oregon is the next biggest prize. We're seeing Oregon and Washington linked, or at least rumors about them potentially joining maybe the Big Ten. You're an Oregon alum, man. You're as close to that school as anybody I have on this station. No question about that. What's next for Oregon? Could they potentially be next in making a conference jump?
Yeah, I think that a lot of that is going to depend on Notre Dame, because if they decide to go into the Big Ten, then you're either going to see Oregon, Washington, or Stanford go. My guess would be Oregon, because if you're in the Big Ten, you don't really, as much as you would like Stanford, because they play Notre Dame all the time. you're also understanding that they are a zero brand in terms of college football viewership. Like they don't draw the same way. But and also Stanford is probably, and Cal as well, are going to want to stay away from where we're headed, which is college athletes being deemed as employees, and that's going to happen sooner than later. So then you're going to end up in a spot where you may see Stanford drop certain sports, or so it could get tricky. So I would probably stay away from Stanford initially until there's some clarity on that. But I definitely do think that Oregon may be headed to the Big Ten, and I would not mind that just because of the finances. And I know that Oregon wants to maintain itself as a potential national championship power, and the finances matter when it comes to that.
Final question for you. I don't know if you and Stroud have anything on the line opening day, Labor Day weekend, but does Oregon maybe have anything for Georgia coming off a national championship, Dan Lanning's first game as the head coach of Oregon?
Come on, man. We going down there to go slay that dragon, man. Just like last year. Oh my God, it can't be done. Oregon is 15-point favorite dogs going into the Horseshoe in Columbus, and then you saw what happened there. And now that we got the secret sauce, and truthfully, Georgia lost a ton. So like if this were last year, I would say absolutely not. But this year, with the way that Georgia lost so much on offense, on defense especially, they lost Tremaine Burton at wide receiver to Alabama, so they're going to be young at the wide receiver spot. Their quarterback is an average college quarterback at best. He's not a difference maker there. So I think that Oregon has a legitimate shot to win this game. So I'm excited about it, and yeah, I could not be more happy.
George Reister, former Oregon Duck, former Jacksonville Jaguar. You hear him on Mad Dog Sirius XM Radio in the evenings. You also get him at unafraidshow.com. George, you're always gracious with your time, man. We certainly appreciate it. We'll do it again soon.
Yep. All right, thanks.
Thank you to former Jaguar tight end George Reister. Always enjoy the conversation with him. Back into the world of college football coming up in just a bit. Brent Beard up at SEC Media Days. You see Brent on First Coast News here locally, and you certainly get him here on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. We'll go to Atlanta. Brent Beard live at SEC Media Days. That's next. Hacker After Dark on a Monday. We're glad you're with us, Jacksonville.
1010XL takes you behind the microphone.
Mad? Yeah, mad! Good and mad! Yeah!
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
What do you want to do about it? Feels good, doesn't it?
The Drill.
Yeah!
Mornings on 1010XL.
Now it's time I got some respect.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Have you ever regretted buying a car? Is the idea of shopping at a dealership scary? We want you to know that you don't have to feel that way, and I promise that Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet will provide the wow experience and peace of mind you deserve. We believe that taking care of our team, our customers, and our community is more important than anything. So give us the chance to earn your business and join our 50,000 plus and counting wowed customers. You won't regret it. See you at Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. We're going to wow you.
Summer Nights presented by One-to-One Financial is an evening affair benefiting Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Florida on Saturday, August 27th. Enjoy an evening at the beautiful Glass Factory as you sip premium cocktails, dance the night away with live music from the Bold City Classic. Taste delicious dishes from local restaurants like Black Sheep and win exciting auction packages. For details and tickets, go to tinyurl.com/1010 Summer Nights.
Blackout colon cancer. Hicken here for the Borland Groover Foundation. If you're 45 or older, the ball is in your court to get screened. The key to surviving colon cancer, early detection and prevention. 45 is the new 50. Protect your end zone and get screened for colon cancer now. The Borland Groover Foundation is a nonprofit organization devoted to helping the community and save lives. Visit BorlandGrooverFoundation.com for more.
Hey, folks, you know Chick-fil-A restaurants serve delicious food like the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich or waffle potato fries, but you may not know how Chick-fil-A restaurant owners invest in their team members. Chick-fil-A restaurant owners offer flexible hours, leadership development, scholarship opportunities, and more. So if you're looking to grow your career, well, don't miss this opportunity to join your local Chick-fil-A restaurant. Apply online today by visiting your local Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A restaurants are operated by independent franchise business owners. Chick-fil-A, an equal opportunity employer.
Did you know that the air in your home can be much worse than the air outdoors? Hick and here for Zero Res. In fact, the EPA lists indoor air quality one of the top 5 health threats in America. Zero Res can help. Cleaning air ducts is all about power. The more power you have, the more air you can move, and that's how you clean air ducts. Zero Res truck mount systems move more than 15,000 CFMs to pull all that dirt debris out of your home. Right now, Zero Res offering $50 off the cleaning of your air duct system. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
This is Hayes Carlion for Kingfish Pest Control, a local family-owned business that specializes in pest, termites, mosquito, and rodent prevention. I tell you what, when I got my new home, I had to put on my reporter's hat, find out who really is the best, and it turns out there's no competition. Kingfish provides exceptional service and treats me like a valued customer, not just an account. That's why I wholeheartedly recommend Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Tailgaters Parking presents The Henpecked Husband.
Hey, do you know what time it is?
Time for what, dear?
Time to go buy our season parking at Tailgaters Parking again.
Oh, yeah, of course, dear.
You know, we don't even have to go to the game because we can tailgate all game long right in the Tailgaters parking lot.
I guess so, dear.
Tailgaters is the best place to tailgate for every game.
I know, dear.
They've got a covered pavilion, assigned spaces, clean restrooms, a full bar and restaurant.
Yes, dear.
And they're right across the street from the stadium.
Yes, dear.
TailgatersParking.com. Golfers, are you ready to break out the clubs? World Golf Village awaits with 36 holes of championship golf at the Slammer and Squire and King and Bear. Split up your week with a round after work or make it the highlight of your weekend. With dynamic pricing and online booking, you can be sure you're getting the best deal. Book your tee times at golfwgv.com for best available rates. golfwgv.com.
Thinking about a graduate degree? Consider Webster University. Enrolling now for MBA degrees with several areas of emphasis to fit your career goals. Earn your degree completely online or in person one night each week at the local campus. Webster University is a military-friendly, nonprofit university. They accept VA benefits, employer tuition assistance, and financial aid. You've waited long enough. Apply today at webster.edu. Webster University, an accredited degree that fits your lifestyle.
Hi, everybody. Mike Dempsey here for Underdog Fantasy, the easiest place to play fantasy football. Draft your team with no in-season management, get the optimal score from your team each week of the season, and have a shot at over $10 million in total prize money in Underdog's Best Ball Mania 3 contest. Head to UnderdogFantasy.com or the App Store now, sign up with the promo code 1010XL, and Underdog is going to match your first deposit up to $100. Again, Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code 1010XL and draft your Best Ball Mania 3 team today.
Be a part of Tony Baselli's Hall of Fame celebration on 1010XL. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Call and leave your message for Tony at 207-7071 or post a video on Instagram or Twitter. Presented by Coastal Equipment and Bari Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Now. Hello. Another great guest on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the Accident Attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The SEC Media Days in Atlanta this year. A little different, not in Hoover, but in Atlanta, Georgia. It usually means the kickoff to the college football season, and it is Christmas in July. For my next guest, my buddy Brent Beard. Brent, what media days will this be for you?
I have missed one back in early, it may have been 94, 95, or something like that. But it's safe to say that that I missed one since I started going in '92.
Yeah, about to say I've been to I think 7 of them in my time, and you were certainly at every one of those. I'll never quite forget the time when I thought I was talking to you, and I was talking to your twin brother Brett out in the state of Alabama.
Yes.
That's my classic Media Days story.
Yeah, oh yes.
Of course,
yes.
you can get Brett Beard on First Coast News here in the city of Jacksonville.
I'll give you a better story. Brent went to register, and as you know, there's a line to register and some ladies who get all your information. Well, he went to register. Maybe 10 minutes later, I did the same thing. The woman at the desk said, "Now listen, you were here just a few minutes ago. I don't have time for you. You just get out of here."
Yeah.
So I actually had to bring. I think what I ended up doing was I went and got Brett, brought him back just to prove that we were 2 people.
Of course, Brent does radio with me, and you hear him on First Coast News. His brother Brett does sports radio in the state of Alabama. All right, Brent Beard, it is SEC Media Days. My question to you is this. Are we going to be talking football next week, or are we going to be talking about NIL, transfer portal, Jimbo versus Saban? What do you think the big storylines are going to be in Atlanta?
Well, as far as the coaches, there'll be a lot of NIL. There'll be some transfer portal. Jimbo and Nick won't go anywhere because they will have a big discussion about this behind closed doors. And the official word will be, we have moved on. So anybody going, hoping that's going to rev up again, that's not going to happen because the ADs, Sankey and all, Commissioner Greg Sankey, have basically put on it. So hopefully we'll get more on the field stuff. My Stars, we're ready for it, aren't we, Hack? After a summer. Now, there'll be some expansion questions, but the coaches aren't going to be able to answer that. Pay attention particularly to Greg Sankey's State of the SEC address, because he will deal with a lot of things and give an update. It would be great if we could find out when OU and Texas are going to join the league. He will give an update on, because heck, he's on all these committees. So he can give an update on the transfer portal. He can give an update on what progress has been made on NIL. So Sankey's incredibly important, but I think hopefully by the time we get to coaches that we will actually get some on the field stuff, and how refreshing that would be, right?
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier this week. I was watching some Big 12 Media Days, and certainly there's a lot swirling around that conference, but it was nice to hear about rivalries, right? And it was nice to hear about how the quarterbacks looked in spring ball and how they've gone through summer conditioning. That's kind of what I'm interested in moving forward. Brent, is it as simple as Alabama and everybody else in the West, Georgia and everybody else in the East? I mean, on paper, it looks like Alabama and Georgia are clearly the favorites in the 2 divisions.
It's the 2 best rosters, and the SEC, and frankly, besides Ohio State and maybe Clemson, it's the 2 best rosters in football. That's not going to change. And I've told a lot of people when they've asked about Alabama, Bama was in the national championship game last year, and this team is significantly better than last year. So that's going to be interesting and better, particularly defensively. Georgia's going to be better as far as, I think, offensively. There's no way in the world they can be better defensively, but they've got so many 5-stars, and they've been biding their time. I think they'll be fine too. But here's a reality: we're going to hear a lot about this season, about Georgia's schedule. I know you've looked at it. frankly, after Oregon, the only possible, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, the only possible loss is Tennessee, Florida, or Kentucky, and that's it.
Well, and you mentioned those three in particular, and I've had a lot of guys on in the last couple of weeks, and I guess about a month ago we started really previewing college football. The East, 2 through 5, Brent, when you talk about Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee, and I'll put South Carolina in there because of Spencer Rattler, there really is question. People are pretty certain Georgia's number 1. People are pretty certain Missouri and Vanderbilt are at the bottom. But in the East, 2 through 5 could be an interesting story to be told this year.
Well, basically what you've got in the preseason magazines, you've got Lindy's, Georgia, Kentucky, Tennessee, Florida, South Carolina, Missouri, and Vandy. Athlon is Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, Florida, South Carolina, Missouri, and Vanderbilt. And then Phil Steele is Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, Kentucky, South Carolina. So does that back up your point? You've got 3 different magazines and 3 different varieties.
What do you think about that pecking order, Brent, particularly when it comes to the Gators? I know Napier, starter for starter, I think Florida is going to be pretty good. You and I have had the conversation that there are potential depth issues if injuries happen. But in relation to Tennessee, Kentucky, South Carolina, where should Florida fans expect to be this year?
I still think they're probably 8 and 4-ish, somewhere in there. Now, again, to me, September is going to determine their season. Utah, Kentucky, Tennessee. Look, there's a lot of talk about the Utah game, and there should be. Look, their most important game may be Kentucky.
Agreed. Yeah.
Frankly, it's a conference game, divisional game. So, but you could look at those games. Kentucky and Tennessee are both 50-50 games from Florida.
They are. My concern is, again, we're here with Brent Beard. You see him on First Coast News. You hear him here on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL. I got buddies in Knoxville, Brent. I know you do as well. Yeah. To say that they have that game circled up there at Neyland Stadium when Florida comes in would be an understatement. Sure. The Tennessee Navy, they are ready for the Gators.
Well, but here's a reality, though. Between the two, Florida still has the better defense, especially with Miller coming back, Cox coming back. Tennessee's average on defense at best, and that's where they've got to improve. It doesn't mean they don't have some pretty good players, but I still say Florida. Now Kentucky's got the better quarterback, and Chris Rodriguez is a very dangerous running back. But again, Hank, if they could split Utah and Kentucky, primarily winning Kentucky, I still think that they've got enough to win a close game at Tennessee. But that's going to be the reality for them. And then we say this last year, what we mean by 50-50 games, these are games that are too close to call. A turnover can make the difference. Look, if they could win those games, particularly like the South Carolina debacle last year, and I'm just telling you, if they start 2-0, and I'm not getting ridiculous here, but if they start 2-0 and they gain some confidence, they may be better than we think they are.
Yeah, it could be like Mullen's first year. You didn't expect much in Mullen's first year, and they end up at a New Year's Six Bowl. I agree. But Utah, Kentucky, right out of the gate, even though they're both at home, those are going to be 2 very tough putts. Yeah. Brent Beard here with us. When it comes to the West, obviously it's Alabama. I'm not breaking any news there. If there were to be a challenger, who is number 2 in the West coming into the year?
Well, on talent, you think it would be A&M. Now they've got a lot of those tremendous defensive linemen, but they're freshmen. And in this league, there's a freshman curve, as you know. So, I could still see A&M end up 9-3 or 8-4. It depends on who the quarterback's going to be. Arkansas is really going to be good. Drew Sanders, transfer from Alabama, Bumper Pool, and they've got enough talent coming back, but their schedule is so brutal. And LSU, we don't know who the quarterback's going to be, but you do know that they've got talent. Booty comes back at wide receiver, Embry's at running back, so they'll be okay there. Ole Miss is a real wild card, frankly. With Jackson Dart, the trick kid at tight end is going to be really good. But just to sum it up, right now I would say probably A&M. But heck, could you make an argument for Arkansas, LSU, or Ole Miss to finish second too?
I think you could. Arkansas with KJ Jefferson, I love him at quarterback. I'll tell you this too, Brent. I don't expect much from Mississippi State, but I was stunned when I saw Will Rogers' numbers last year. The quarterback out there in Starkville.
Yes.
The dude threw like 36 touchdowns to 9 picks or something ridiculous. I was shocked when I saw those numbers when we were looking at SEC quarterbacks. Final moment here with you, Brent. We do this seemingly every year. There will be 14 coaches in Atlanta at SEC Media Days. How many coaches are in danger of not being back in 2023? What are the hottest seats in the conference coming into this year? Is it Brian Harsin from Auburn and that's it, or is there anybody else on a hot seat?
I mean, that's basically it, I think. Now, if Missouri goes upside down, I mean, there's a chance Drinkwith may be on the hot seat. But besides Brian Harsin, and look, Auburn may be picked last in the league. I mean, that's hard to believe. But they very well may be picked as the worst team in the West.
That hire was weird, Brent, when they made it. You're from the state of Alabama. What was that about?
They did not get the guy that they wanted, and then Harsin came up kind of as a wild card, and that's where they went. But look. They really wanted to hire Kevin Steele. I'm not kidding. Who was at Auburn as the coordinator at Tennessee, and now is at Miami. So, but I can tell you this, and it's a shame, but they're going to probably end up 7-5 or 6-6, and if the boosters have their way, he may be gone. But look. He reminds me a little bit of Pat Dye in that he wants to run the ball. Well, we take Bigsby, play good defense. He's tough. He wants to rebuild the line of scrimmage and make them tougher. He doesn't pay any attention to the boosters, or at least not much. Ryan, the ironic thing is he's really who they need. But they're not going to keep him very long if he doesn't win, and the schedule is tough for him to win.
Yeah, just hasn't been given much of a chance there, and clearly it appears he is on a very hot seat out there on the Plains. Brent Beard, have fun in Atlanta, safe travels. Let's hope to catch up with you maybe Wednesday after the Gators make the rounds there at Media Days. Have fun out there, my friend. We'll talk soon.
We'll do it, bud. Thanks so much.
And there you go, Brent Beard from SEC Media Days up in Atlanta. Thank you to both Brent and Frank Frangie for joining us earlier today from Atlanta. SEC Media Days ongoing until Thursday, and I believe Wednesday is the big day around these parts, as both the Florida Gators and I believe the Georgia Bulldogs are scheduled to be in Atlanta on Wednesday. SEC, it's interesting. Greg Sankey spoke to the media today. You also heard from Brian Kelly of LSU, minus that fake Southern accent, Lane Kiffin from Ole Miss, and Eli Drinkwitz from Missouri. 4 more teams in tomorrow, including the Alabama Crimson Tide and head coach Nick Saban. 4 in on Wednesday, and they'll wrap things up on Thursday with the final 3 teams. Well, that'll just about do it for a very busy Monday night edition of Hacker After Dark here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Again, thank you to Frank Frangie and Brent Beard and former Jaguar tight end George Wrightster for coming in on the program today. The Jaguars report to training camp on Sunday. They are on the practice field 1 week from today with day one of Jaguar 2022 training camp. Hard to believe that it has arrived. Hacker After Dark will be back tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, our late night here on 1010XL. We're 10 to midnight. Boy, Denmark and I really get after it on Tuesday evenings, so we hope you join us at 10 o'clock for the late night edition of Hacker After Dark. Dylan Denmark, as mentioned, was your producer this evening. I'm the Hacker Ryan Green, and Jacksonville, as always, thank you for spending part of your evening with us here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. So for all of us on Hacker After Dark, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Monday, and we'll talk to you in 24 hours at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday for another edition of HAD. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.
The home of the home team you grew up with.
You could not stop Jimmy Smith now. For 4 or 5 years in this league.
Looking for Jimmy in the end zone.
Please play him one-on-one.
Jaguars, pride forever. 1010XL.
At Key Buick GMC, receive 0% financing up to 36 months on select GMCs, $500 off all new vehicles for all active, retired, enlisted, and previous military. Whenever you purchase a brand new vehicle from Key, whether it's a Buick or GMC, it always comes with that lifetime powertrain warranty. A full allotment is in now and available. So visit the good folks at Key Buick GMC right across the street from Tinseltown, Southside, and get it.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
If you'd like to work part-time for the Jumbo Shrimp, attend their hiring event at 1-to-1 Financial Ballpark Wednesday, July 27th from 4 to 7.
The learning experience in